Assalamu alaikum. You know, I was held by the United States of America as a prisoner in Guantanamo for 3 years. No charge, no trial, torture, false imprisonment, cruel, inhuman and degrading treatment. As we speak now, there is a Palestinian from Gaza who is in Guantanamo, and he's been there for the past 23 years. No charge, no trial. Held by the world's most powerful and vociferous advocate of democracy and human rights. What a joke. What a complete joke. You know, one of the things they tried to do to us, or they used to do to us as prisoners, is wrap us in Israeli flags to try to break our will. So let's have a little conversation about what Israel was made up of. Do you know who the progenitors, the originators of the IDF actually are? 3 groups. Haganah, Irgun, and Lehi, the Stern Gang. Haganah was, after World War II, facilitating illegal immigration into Palestine. It was a Jewish Zionist group that was facilitating illegal immigration into Palestine after World War II. But that wasn't enough. So another group called Irgun, whose leader was Moazzam Begg, who went on to become the 6th Prime Minister of Israel, they carried out bombings, not just against the Palestinians, but against the British. In British Mandate Palestine, they carried out a bombing of the King David Hotel, which killed 91 people, the largest terrorist bombing against any British citizens in history. That means greater than the IRA, greater than ISIS, and greater than Al-Qaeda. The King David Hotel bombing is celebrated to this day in the Knesset. And in 2006, there was an early day motion in the British Parliament, signed by at least 60 MPs, who called to condemn the Knesset, remembering and commemorating this bombing that was attended by none other than Netanyahu, Benjamin Netanyahu. Today, as we stand here, trying to fight for the rights of people who are trying to stop a genocide, Benjamin Netanyahu continues and remains to be an indicted war criminal. Israel faces genocide charges at the court that was built and established after the genocide and the Holocaust by the Nazis in World War II. But somehow they seem to have escaped complete accountability. As a nation, Israel was already charged. In 2014, there were 300 Holocaust survivors and their relatives wrote an open letter to the Israeli government saying that what its actions were in 2014, not 2022 or 23, but 2014, that Israel was carrying out a genocide. So imagine this, the only nation in the world that escapes prosecution at the ICC, at the ICJ, and has been condemned by the United Nations for carrying out ethnic cleansing. It has been condemned long before 7th of October for carrying out apartheid laws by the most prominent human rights organizations in the world, Amnesty International and Human Rights Watch, and even Israeli human rights organization Beit Salam. What is it about this state that allows it to get away with every crime that we all knew were the worst in humanity? The targeting of children, the use of starvation as a weapon of war, the justification of rape of prisoners. Which country, which people can do that? You have ministers of the Israeli government, the finance minister and the security minister, who have been banned by the British government because they are too extreme and support the settlements in the West Bank. How is that possible, that when such people roam the streets free? How is it possible that individuals from Palestine Action are facing imprisonment The Filton 18 are facing imprisonment under terrorism laws. How is that even possible? How is it possible that Palestine Action, an organization born out of trying to stop the world's greatest crimes, is potentially going to be prescribed alongside ISIS and National Action and other terrorist organizations? How is that possible? Shame! 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 You know, I want to remind all of us as we speak that we're all here, our presence here. Just like when I used to see and hear about the marches, I was in prison for 2 years in solitary confinement. 2 years. I had no access to any other human being except for the ones that were persecuting me. But one of them, a decent soldier, came along and he said, "Son, there's millions of people marching in the streets. Millions. Yes. In your streets. In the streets of Britain, in the streets of London and beyond, against the war." And that gave me one ray of hope in a place of complete and utter darkness. So just as that ray of hope reached me, I know from Palestinians that I'm connected to, related to, that the rays of hope continue to shine from here, and one of those rays of hope is Palestine Action. Free Palestine! Free Palestine!